And what I mean by that is things like this. If you choose the wrong color cupcake, you're racist. If you accidentally turn to Fox News while flipping through the channels, you're racist. If you support capitalism, racist. If you do not support the group Black Lives Matter, you are racist. And most importantly, if you disagree with somebody, you are for sure a racist bigot. Welcome to the show. Hope everyone's doing well, and thank you for joining us. Today, I do have John back with me. He's slightly better than that stack of books I was talking about.
It's me.
Today, we're going to be looking at current events, specifically racism, which I know sounds funny in sense that not that racism is funny, but it's not necessarily a current event because it's been around for such a long time. But specifically, what we're going to be talking about is the crazy use of racism and the word racist that is being used as a weapon in our times today. And what I mean by that is things like this. If you choose the wrong color cupcake, you're racist. If you accidentally turn to Fox News while flipping through the channels, you're racist. If you support capitalism, racist. If you do not support the group Black Lives Matter, you are racist. And most importantly, if you disagree with somebody, you are for sure a racist bigot. Reject that gender is on a spectrum, also racist.
Somehow.
Yeah, so these are things that are not racist. They're not at all racist, not even subliminally or subconsciously. They're just not racist at all. But we're told these wild things are racist to either shut down conversation or some kind of weapon so they don't have to discuss ideas with you because you're a racist individual.
Simply put, there's no other way to say it. Racism is terrible. Racism is bad. But not every terrible, bad person is a racist. And that's really important. There's a lot of videos today that show someone being a complete butthole, to say nicely, to a person of color. And then immediately they're labeled racist. That's the only interaction we see. Could they be racist? Yes. But maybe they're just a jerk to everyone. Like, we have no evidence to say otherwise. He could just be a terrible person through and through. And that's horrible, but we can't just say, he's a terrible person. I can throw other labels on him and make him even worse. That's not how it works. Anything bad that happens to someone of color with a white person involved isn't automatically racist. It can be a terrible thing. But until they come out on video basically saying, I did this solely because he's black and I'm better than black people, we don't know that it's racist. Can it be? Yes. And again, that's terrible if it is, but we can't just say racist whenever we see something that looks bad. That's not how it works, no matter what the media says. If it's not discrimination based on the color of their skin or this belief that they're superior based on the color of their skin, it can't be racist. That's the definition of racism. Are there racists in this country? Yes. 100%. No one... I take that back. I haven't seen anyone saying that racism is completely gone in America. People say that systematic racism is in America, which I agree with, but that's a different topic. But if you have a difference of opinion on something, that doesn't automatically make you a racist. Unless the opinion is, I'm superior to black people because they're black. Then, yes, that would make you a racist. But that's not what most people differentiate on, but they're still labeled a racist. And it doesn't matter if you support Black Lives Matter or not. The organization, not supporting them doesn't make you racist. People that don't support that organization are not necessarily racist just because they don't support that organization. Black Lives Matter, the statement is perfectly fine. Most Americans agree with that statement that Black Lives Matter. The difference is the organization says one thing, and then they slide a bunch of other stuff under that label and push their political agenda under the label of Black Lives Matter.
We called this the old bait and switch. At least that's what I'm calling it for this segment. And it looks a lot like this. Actually, let me give you an example with the pro-life community, because this happens to them all the time. It'll be something like this. Hey, do you consider yourself pro-life? And you're like, what an innocent question. Oh, okay, I didn't know we were going to role play.
Yeah,
hey, do you consider yourself pro-life?
Yeah.
Great. So are you against war? Are you against self-defense? Are you against capital punishment? Thanks for coming to our role play. And what happened there is I asked John a simple question. Are you pro-life? Knowing that he is going to relate that to the organization that is an anti-abortion movement. That's what they are built for. That's their whole purpose. And then, whenever I got him to commit to that, then I did the old bait and switch. I took the bait and I switched it for just the general phrase pro-life, meaning always being pro-life about everything. It's false. I'm using it as a weapon. I'm baiting and switching. Now I'm saying, you're very inconsistent because you don't agree with what you say. Not understanding that pro-life organization itself and then the phrasing pro-life are two different things. They have different meanings due to their context. This is exactly the game Black Lives Matter, the organization, is playing. They will say, do you not support the Black Lives Matter organization or group? Or they'll even just say Black Lives Matter to leave it more ambiguous. But right now in our culture, you know what they're talking about. They're talking about this organization, this whole movement. If you say no, then boom, you're a racist because all Black Lives Matter just means is Black lives are valuable, they'll say. But that's wrong. That's what just the phrase Black Lives Matter means, not just the organization. They're not the same thing. It's a bait and switch. And we know this because if you go to their website and look at their mission statement or what they're about, which should be very, very simple, Black Lives Matter, it goes into a little more detail. They're all about the global warming, environmental issues. They want to push that agenda. The LGBTQIA+ agenda. There's more letters every time I read that. Universal healthcare and education. They believe black people are systematically targeted for demise. They're very anti-Trump, and they want to destroy the nuclear family. This is not my opinion. This is not me making stuff up. This is what they promote on their website. They will tell you this is what they're about. So no. Black Lives Matter organization is not just about finding black people valuable. Of course they're valuable. Of course we shouldn't mistreat them. Of course they have just as much inherent value as anyone. But then they slip all this other beliefs and political agenda in there and say, if you're not with us, you don't think that. And that is simply not true. It's a bait and switch. Don't fall into that trap. The biggest thing that I've noticed here is that they also have nothing about black-on-black crime, which is not just a white supremacist way of looking at crime. No, it's one of the subcategories.
Anytime you have data and you want to get a little more specific, what do? You break it down into subcategories so that you can look at it instead of as a whole and get a finite number there. You break it down and get a little more specific so that you can see in what areas you can improve. Black-on-black crime is just a subcategory of crime as a whole. Just like black-on-white crime, white-on-black crime, they are simply subcategories. There's nothing white supremacist about
even
that.
White-on-white crime. Yeah. So they say nothing about that. They say absolutely silent. And then they also say silent about the fact that 28% of all African-American pregnancies end in abortion. They won't want to talk about that because it's against their political ideology. Are you starting to see that this is a political ideology? Stop pretending it is not a political organization. Stop pretending it's just being a good human to support this group. No, it's not. It's political. And the last thing is destroying the nuclear family is not in any way, shape, or form helping the black community. It is going to destroy them. It is already hurting them. It is already seeped in, and we are seeing the results of this. And John is going to give you some statistics.
Yeah, I am, because that's all I do on this. No, I'm just kidding. So, sorry.
Just read your thing.
So, the lack of the nuclear family is one of the biggest problems, if not the biggest problem, in the black community as a whole, and it has been since the war on drugs took black fathers out of the homes. It's not just a problem in the black community, but it is one of the biggest problems they face, but it's a problem for all the communities if you are a single parent or if you are raised by a single parent. Statistically, it's just harder, and you don't have as much of a chance to succeed. Can you? Yes, it's just harder. For example, people from a single parent home are 5 times more likely to experience poverty. They're at greater risk for abuse and neglect, and in the black community specifically, children under 18 with the mother only there are 45% likely to experience poverty and 36% if the father is the only one in the house, compared to 12% likely to experience poverty if both parents are in the house. That means with a mother only, you are almost 4 times likely, and with a father only, you are 3 times more likely to experience poverty than if you have both parents in the house. So disrupting the nuclear family is going to do nothing but hurt everyone, not just the black community, but the white community, but the black community is the one that's suffering from it right now. We can look at that data. It's already suffering from it. Why do we want to continue to add to that by disrupting what would be a fix for some of the problems in the black community? And I want to reiterate again, I am not saying that if you are a single parent, you cannot raise a successful child. That is not what I'm saying. There are plenty of single parents that have done a fantastic job with their child. Our hats go off to you. We applaud you. Thank you, because we know it's probably not easy to do that. And some of you have done amazing jobs. All we're saying is that to give your child the best chance to succeed, if you can, wait until you're in a stable, healthy relationship to have children. Preferably marriage, but that's just my beliefs. So in summary, again, racism is bad. Racism is a terrible thing, but not everything bad or terrible is inherently racist. In the organization, Black Lives Matter is different from the phrase. The phrase Black Lives Matter is 100% true. Black lives do matter just as much as my life, anyone else's life, white, black, Latino, Asian, it doesn't matter. Human life is 100% valuable no matter your race. The difference is the organization says one thing and pushes several other things under the rug so that you don't see it, you don't have to, but if you disagree, you're automatically racist. It's completely different from the statement Black Lives Matter, and it's different and almost contradictory to the label that it's putting on itself because of the core beliefs in the About Us section of blacklivesmatter.com.
So I'm going to say this. I will gladly admit my white privilege, and I am so thankful I've had this white privilege, and John has too. And here is the white privilege that I've had. I have not had a whole group of politicians within the government purposely trying to rip my father and other fathers of our skin color out of the homes. I have not purposely and specifically been targeted in removing fathers from the homes. They have not tried to destroy my families or like white people's families from the inside out like they have the black community. That is my privilege, and I am very thankful for they haven't. But I will not sit by and aid them in doing this to the black communities. Especially not under the guise of pretending like I care about Black Lives Matter. I won't do that. I will not support the organization. I do not agree with any of their core beliefs. Now, the phrase Black Lives Matter, yes, absolutely I support and I agree with. So don't be fooled into thinking that just because you don't support Black Lives Matter organization means that you are inherently racist. That's all we have today. So thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks, guys.